Good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm so happy that you were able to make some time to talk to me about the URI New Media, Social Media, Digital Certificate. I've put together a hypothesis of what I think the certificate should include. It's going to be 12 credits, and it's going to cover more than just social media, I think, because, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. There's so much more. Nothing is in isolation if you even think about SEO and social, and it's all interconnected. But one thing that I've found so far in doing some interviews is that there are things that I haven't accounted for that really should be addressed. And so what I'm finding is it's good to what I call pro source, so
All right.
crowdsource, um, and get different opinions from different people, and also to drum up some interest in the program and the exciting things that you or I are doing. But first, before we dive into that, you have a really interesting current life, I think. But I'm wondering, before you jump into what you're doing now, if you could talk about how you got there. What's your background? What did you get your degree in?
I got my degree actually in fire science, which is the furthest thing from what I am doing now with my life that you could possibly do. In college, just after high school, I got a degree in fire science, an associate's degree, and my firefighter one from the Connecticut State Fire Academy, and my EMT basic license. And then,
Well,
yes, that it doesn't tie into what I'm doing now at all. And then I got a great opportunity to work with the New England Patriots for 8 years and worked with them in administration, management, and did a lot of nonprofit work with them. So after the lockout in 2010, when all the NFL employees got laid off, I found myself starting a job. So I started it in nonprofit, social media work, and a couple years later here, we are with What's Up New.
yeah. And what's the story behind What's Up New?
It started in 2012. A couple of my friends started it, as well as What's Up Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Stowe, a couple other sites. And I took over Newport and became the regional manager of all the sites. And with all the seasonal locations, it was tough to keep up with new editors. So at this point, I purchased What's Up Noop, and I own What's Up Noop, and we are working on a plan for the other 5 or 6 or even more cities. So that's here in Newport, we cover what's happening and what's new in Newport. We focus a lot on live music, entertainment, restaurant, a lot of lifestyle stuff, and dibble and dabble a little bit in the news section of it.
Yeah, speaking of news, what's the latest on the Newport Yachting Center? And if people aren't familiar with Newport, Rhode Island, the Yachting Center is where summer concerts happen, comedy series, Oktoberfest, you name it, it's all happening at the Yachting Center. And I see a lot of things on Facebook that it's going to be shut down, or what's going to happen?
Yeah, 2 days ago, the ABC6 broke the story that Newport Harbor Corporation, which owns Newport Restaurant Group and Newport Yachting Center, was selling Newport Yachting Center and their Newport waterfront property. So that includes the property that the mooring restaurant, smokehouse, and yachting center are on. And they've owned the property for 20 years. They've been doing concert series and things like that for 16. And they've decided to sell it. So it is going to be sold. The sale will go final in November. And while they will continue to do the boat show and some of their other smaller events, the concert series, comedy series, and festivals are no more. So right now the city, a lot of people around the city are scrambling to try to make sure those events still continue.
Yeah, wow, that's huge. I was just at the boating show VIP party, and I was just thinking, wow, they do so much to maximize that space, but it's still prime waterfront property, and you have to wonder, is it really earning its at its highest and best use? And as a resident of the island, I think from a cultural perspective it is, but from a business perspective, you have to wonder.
Yeah, and in 2013 there was an economic impact study done where 33,000 unique people went to the Newport Yachting Center events, and then it had an $11 million impact on Newport and the surrounding area. So that is a huge hole to make up for, and really not sure how it's going to be done. Right now, the new owners of the property say they're going to keep it a parking lot and lease a lot of the land back to Newport Harbor Corporation, so the mooring will still continue operating, smokehouse will still continue operating, but the loss of those events and those 33,000 people coming just for an event or whatever it may be will be a huge loss here in Newport. So those are the type of things we cover with What's Up Noop. It's very hyper-local, new media hyper-local, where covering, just what's happening in restaurants, bars, and what's really driving the economy and what matters to the locals here.
Yeah, well, I know that you guys have done a really good job of, or I guess you have done a really good job of establishing a reputation. I know a lot of the nonprofits in the area think very highly of you and the work that you do with them, too, to try to get the word out and build a sense of community that involves them.
Yeah, it's very important to give back and help them out in any way. I always say that it's, with hyper-local social media, it's not to play. I want to be the voice of the community, and everybody, especially nonprofits, can come and know that I will spread the word and support them any way I can. So, and one of the things I've done with What's Up Noop is I've had the opportunity to start a radio show every single weekday, which focuses on hyper-local, which is on 1540 AM W80K here in Newport. And it's on 2 hours every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And we talk about what's going on in town, where to go, and nonprofits. Just yesterday I had a Quidnick Land Trust on.
Oh, great. Excellent. I'm missing the Advancement Committee meeting right now. Right. That's good. No, the Land Trust is a really great organization. You talk about quality of life. I think that they are a key part of it.
Sure are.
Yeah. All right, so let's dig into to New Media Certificate. And URI has been doing some really interesting things. They're creating an integrated media major. So you don't have to go and just be a PR major and only take PR classes. There are a lot of other options. You can take film classes, journalism, which I think makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're a perfect example, right, of how many different things you have to put together. A radio show, so you have broadcast abilities, content creation, writing, editing, photography. You do it all, right?
Yeah, that's mostly a one-man team. I have some people that help me out here and there when I need them to, but mostly, yeah, I many different hats.
Yeah. So, understanding that, or I guess let's go on the assumption that there are going to be a lot of people who travel your path and decide, okay, I'm going to be my own publisher and go forward and be an entrepreneur. What are some skills that you think that would fall in the realm of a digital new media certificate? What would be helpful to you?
All right.
When you're starting out.
Yeah. You have to have the ability to work. Something I've learned and something I get a lot of questions about is the ability to work whenever the work needs to be done. In a social media world where things are happening 24/7, or you could say 37, just they pack it in. But things happen, and just work whenever it needs to be done. Creativity is another one. In being personal and tying it back to you have to make people think and you have to make people feel is from the social media world is two things you have to do for sure.
Yeah, and I think too, but as far as maybe technical skills, what do you think would be good?
I spend a lot of time writing. I spend a lot of time with photography, and let's see here. All right. There we go. First time using this Google Plus thing. So all sorts of things are popping up, so I apologize.
No problem.
But a lot of time writing, which I never thought I would do. So a lot of time copy editing and research and things like that. So definitely, and I've learned through the radio station of how to follow up with news and source, and you have to get two sources for everything. But with the social media and hyperlocal aspect of it, just finding out what people care about.
How do you do that?
Really getting to know your community and the people that are the people that are well known in the community and getting to know the leaders, like in the nonprofit world and the events world. Maybe following other media. There's nothing wrong with following what some of your competitors are doing to see how people react. And I've learned a lot from that. You know, seeing how people react to a newspaper, or seeing how people react to TV, or other forms of media. There's so much opportunity where, like, a newspaper won't have a story or an event out until tomorrow if it's something comes out, where I could have it out in 5 minutes. So it's just using the opportunity and availability to jump on things before everybody else. And you have to be a trusted source. You can't put a story out there that you haven't verified or done any research on, or that people don't care about. So it's really a balance of taking a moment and sitting there and going, do people care about this?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, and I would think a lot of that would be covered in journalism, which is still key. But what about some of the technical things that you're doing? Which platforms, channels are you finding effective?
Definitely WordPress. WordPress is how we run our website through the world here. So WordPress, and I've learned my way through process of just doing it, how to code and things like that. So I never took a class, but I would say if I was going back, obviously coding is an important one. Even very simple coding, just how to run a website. SEO is so important, just how you're using keywords and how you're using slugs and stories. Even on social media, just how you're using it. Because a lot of times you Google something these days, and a Facebook post or Facebook status or Facebook page. How are you using SEO or slug words or keywords to make sure that is, usually people stay on the first couple pages of Google. Also, social media, I use Facebook, Twitter the most. Something that's on my goal of using more is, Google Plus to spread the business. Speaking of SEO, keywords, and slugs, Google Plus ties right back to Google. So as a business owner, I know I have to do a better job of that. So in the new media and social world, it's knowing that I have to change as the social media world changes, where other businesses aren't like that.
Right. Okay. So as far as, and I really like how you said to learn some basic coding for WordPress and other, HTML comes in very handy. What are some other things that you think that should be considered to be included in the certificate?
Definitely business management. Focusing on my business, business management, and also some form of probably sales. You have to pitch your ideas as well as you have to pitch your business and pitch for advertisers. A website doesn't last or live, or you can't make a living off of it if you're not selling. So it comes up to a big balance of, I fight this every day, is creating content compared to selling. I have to do both just as equally as important. I have to create stories so people visit the website, but I have to have advertisers on it so I can take the time to sell advertising. So business management and selling advertising and accounting and things like that is very important. And also something that really helped me during my time in college was public speaking courses. Getting out there and being, probably one of the best courses I ever took was public speaking, because it allows you to put ideas in your head, think about something, and then express it, which doesn't just help with verbal expression. It helps with updating your website or updating social media and things like that. So anything with communication is great. And obviously, you're getting, if you're writing, you want to have a lot with you're going to deal a lot with press releases and PR folks. So it's getting to, you get a billion press releases, and it's just, what do you do with that press release? How do you make a story out of a press release? Which is your favorite channel, social media channel? I love Twitter for following news and sharing things. I get a lot out of that, and but Facebook is my favorite for return on investment. I get so much traffic to our website and um, so much more exposure and conversation going on Facebook, surprisingly.
Mhm.
And I also use Instagram, but Instagram is, that's fun for pictures and things like that. But to get people to click on your link, you really can't throw a link on there. But it adds to your brand awareness.
Mhm. Nice. What are anything else like Vine or anything like that?
No, I don't do any videos or things like that. We've started a YouTube channel, um, which, when you go to an event like Newport Folk Festival, there are hundreds of media folks there, and you sit there and you can all get in the photo pit and take the same exact picture, or
Hmm.
you can sit there and go, how am I going to cover this differently? So what we did as one of the very few local, hyper-local media companies is we decided to spin it and turn it on to what does the Newport Folk Festival mean to you? What does the Newport Jazz Folk Festival mean to you?
Okay.
So looking at an event and saying, this is the creativity part of it, is everybody's going to have the same pictures and same storyline of what this person's saying. How can I make it different? So we launched our YouTube page and did a story of what does the festivals mean to you. Newport Jazz Festival just went through its 60th anniversary.
Hmm.
And so we interviewed all the people behind the scenes that have been there forever. And it's just a completely different spin on what everybody else was covering. Everybody else was covering the big names like Bobby McFerrin and Mavis Staples, where we were covering the volunteer that's been standing at the back gate for 20 years, who never gets the media or the press or things like that. So that's where expanding your media, I never thought of having a YouTube channel. And then we put a YouTube channel up, and now we're doing interviews with events and guests all over the place. So just because you do something now, I believe that you focus on what you can do right now and do well right now. I can have an account for everything right now, but as a one-man company, I can't possibly update and keep them all running. So what I do, I want to do well. So that's why I slowly Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and keep growing out as I have the time and learn enough and can try to be an expert at it.
Well, speaking of time, what is your work life like? What's the average
Uh,
day in Ryan's life?
a lot of work, not a lot of life.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun because if I need to take 3 hours off right now to talk to you, I can. But some days, like 2 days ago when the yachting center news happened, the coolest thing that happened, is I have Channel 6 and I have Channel 10 calling me that have news teams, but they're calling me to get the see what I know about Newport Yachting Center because I'm right here in the community and I live right next door to people and I work with people and um, I'm around people all the time that work there. So that's the hyperlocal thing is you're always kind of working. So if I'm out having dinner, just as easy it is just to update Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or a story or things like that. So I would say you're always kind of on the clock, but you have the flexibility to take the time off or do what you need or help a friend move or whatever it may be when you need to.
Yeah. That's the part that I like about it too, that, I can decide when I'm going to work and, as long as my clients are happy and I'm doing a good job, I think everybody is fine with that. And I think that's one great thing about careers now. It takes a lot to build your own thing, but it's so rewarding. And to feel like you have a little more control over your destiny, I think is very important. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I'm listening to Drive by Daniel Pink.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that he talks about is what motivates people, and self-direction is a big part of it, which is great.
It sure is, and everything relies on you. Success and failure it runs directly through you. So you paint the picture you want to go. If you want to stay in bed all day, well, that's only probably going to get you failure. But if you get up and most days I'm up around 4 a.m. and going at it before my email's going off, my phone's going off, and I have a set schedule where get up in the morning and I clean out my inbox, and then I leave my inbox alone for a couple hours, and go in the same rhythm every day. So for everybody has a different schedule. For me, it's just you can be lazy, but that it's your company, and to be successful, you have to push it.
So for the people who you work with, do you have interns or freelancers, or how does that work?
I have a lot of freelancers. So
Okay.
yeah, I've looked at possibility of interns, but that will probably be maybe next year. It'll be down the line, maybe when for permanent office. One of the great things about this business is my office is wherever I land. So right now I'm at the radio station. In an hour from now, I'll probably be at a coffee shop, and 2 hours from now, I'll probably be home. So, but yeah, I use a lot of freelancers. I use a lot of freelance photographers, so that way they can take the photos. They're good. They're exceptionally better than me at that, and I focus on the stories or whatever else there may be.
Yeah, I think that's great. So what do you look for when you're working with freelancers?
To have the same vision as I do. I work with the photographers. I have photographers that do all the events here in Newport.
Mhm.
We've kind of been working together. They have a tie to Newport. They have a tie to the community. They try to tie in the people portion of it. So it's not just pictures of shiny guitars and artists. It's really the people that go to the events. And, there's a ton of freelancers out there. And as you probably know, some of them can be really expensive and pricey, and you just need to find people that are doing it for the right reasons, not for the paycheck, but doing it for the love of doing it like you. So, I do this for the love of doing it, and then the paycheck and money comes second.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. And it's just really, it's exciting, and I think, we know each other through Newport Interactive Marketers, I believe, and when I started 4.5 years ago, I thought, maybe we'll have like 6 people and we'll sit around and we'll have dinner and talk shop. I had no idea. I have 1,000 people on a mailing list that get all our event updates. And we only generally meet once a month, but that's a lot of people who are interested in the types of things that you and I are interested in. So many people who are super, super talented and committed to their craft and to living here or being connected to the community. It's really astounding, don't you think?
It sure is, and I think it's only going to get bigger. I mean, right now on Aquidneck Island, in Rhode Island, there's a lot of talk about technology hubs and technology business. The Sheffield School right here in Newport is going to become a technology center. Would employ 108 people, and then there's other talks of technology hubs happening here and there around town. So as these new technology businesses come to town, it can only be better and employ more people and connect us more all.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really excited to hear about the Sheffield School because I haven't heard anything in a while. We sent out a survey through Newport Interactive Marketers to get people's opinions, and that the Chamber was putting together, and I'm glad to hear that that's going forward.
Yeah, they just announced it this week. It's an old school, and it's right here on Broadway in Newport, and looking forward to it. That's great for business.
Yeah, and are they going to get hooked up onto Fiverr?
I do not know about that one.
Because that's key. That's really key. That's another side project that I have is the Aquidneck Island Broadband Project, and it's interesting. I mean, there's a lot happening, and I think that that's really the future of the island. Bringing more people like us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Absolutely.
Do you have any particular tips for students, either current students or students who are working on a certificate like this?
Intern.
Yeah.
Try to find an internship. I know I just said I don't have any, but try to, looking to get a career in media, hyperlocal, social media, whatever it may be. Really study it. There's a lot of great websites out there, like Street Fight, that brings a lot of great content on a daily basis of what people are doing well. There's also Ad Week or something like that, where It talks about what businesses are doing right and wrong. You can learn a lot during your downtime, or just with a daily email. Just what people are doing. So study social media and what people respond to. There's so many different companies and websites that will send you. I think I get fan page karma every day, which talks about this is how your post from yesterday did. These are the ones that did good, bad, interaction, what people loved, and what people are doing good around the world
Cool.
and social media. So yeah.
That sounds cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's another great perk of doing this little project is hearing all these great tips and tools. I talked to Matt Medeiros the other day, who you know through NIM, and he had some really great WordPress and productivity tips and tools that are really kind of cool. So if you had to pick 3 broad topics that you think that are specific to this type of technology, what would be your top 3 or 4? So a class on this, a class on that, a class on this.
All right. Let me see here. I'm thinking classes for tied into social media. I take it.
Yeah, or digital media, new media in general.
Probably SEO keyword is probably one of the most popular. I would say probably a writing or communication class. Even if you are the greatest writer, it's just good to be reminded, how to write in AP style or whatever you're going to be writing in, but how just to put conversations and how to put a story together. Even if it's just a 140 character tweet, just how to make people engaged enough to click that link in 140 characters.
Do you think that the writing needs to be specific to the particular channels?
I don't think so. I think it just needs to be how to write engaging content, how to write engaging storylines, things like that. So I can write all day, you should watch this video, but you got to find a creative way to get people to click the link and watch a 20-minute video or 30-minute video.
Mm-hmm. One of the things in my sorry, I'm just taking notes.
That's okay.
Without saying, find a creative way to get people to watch the video without saying, watch the video. One of the hardest parts, because I was a copy editor in my past life at the Boston Globe and other papers, other daily papers, and it's hard to trim stories. It can be a really fun challenge to catch all the AP style stuff and the grammar stuff, but really the hardest part was writing headlines, and especially those. If you think about how newspaper is laid out, you have to fit into a little tiny sidebar column a meaningful headline. That's maybe you have like 90 characters, and also it has to break properly, and so that was really, really hard. And therefore, I find tweets actually not that hard. But I still think it's probably one of the hardest parts of social media.
Yeah, you can write a tweet 3 different ways and see one way just outperform another one by 100% just by, if you ask a question or if you ask people to retweet or if you put an action word in it. So it's really fascinating how people's minds respond, and it happens with us every day. Even the ones who do it, every time I see something, I'm like, wow, that's creative how they did it. You see a lot of it with BuzzFeed, like you won't believe what happened, or you won't believe, they do it all the time, and they do lists all the time. So they are really just hitting on, hey, people are really responding to this, so we're gonna keep making lists and things like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's really cool. Now, so it sounds like you do a lot of multivariate testing or A/B testing of your social media?
I don't use any source besides myself. I'll put out a story a couple different times a day with a different headline just to see how it does and try to use that way moving forward.
Okay. So it's the same story that you're maybe retweeting multiple times a day, but you're changing the messaging.
Yeah, absolutely. So that way my readers don't get bored of it, and also it's a different way to tell the story and get people to click the link.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, getting people to your website.
Yeah, and having them click through to your advertisers also, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have SEO writing, number 3.
Let's see here. SEO writing. Well, you have to, I guess, you have to have a website, so you have to have some kind of, I guess, website development, or I guess you just need to know the basics of. It goes with SEO a lot, where
Website
how to build.
management, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. Website management.
Yes, hi. This message for Casey.
Or
Horsepower from,
it's so tough. You can go so many different ways. You only gave me 3. That's not fair.
Okay, we can pick a 4th.
No, it's all right. I'm just trying to think of what I want to pick. SEO, writing in AP style. I think communication probably helps me the most. Communicating, I try to keep in touch with everybody, even though I take forever to respond back to your emails.
Well, I know you're busy.
Communication and being open to people so they reach out to you. You know, if I was a closed individual, you would never have reached out to me and asked me to do this. So I don't know what that class would be, but you have to be open to ideas and open to communication, and especially in the media world where people reach out to you for help, but people reach out to you for advertising, people reach out to you for advice, whatever it may be. You know, I get so many tips and tricks emailed to me, called me, and sent to me because people know I'm trustworthy, and people, you know, if it's a private story, and just
like news leads and things like that.
Yeah, news leads like that, but you know, who you are, I really believe comes off through social media and your web and your personality and things like that. So with the public speaking and the communication, I think that really goes really far. I know it's public speaking, but maybe communication. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. What about how much time do you spend on your analytics, and what platforms do you use for that?
I use Google Analytics.
Okay.
So I'm on there. It's open here on my sideline right now, so it's almost open 24 hours a day, where I just click over and see when a story's spiking, see when I should be putting out. I do a daily news recap, news headline story. You know, see when the best time of the day is, put it out when people get to their office and open their computer. Is it early in the morning? So just playing around with analytics like that, and also MailChimp. I send out an email every day, and it took me a couple weeks to figure out, you know, should I send it out at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 6 a.m., 9 a.m.? What days should it be sent out? When are people unsubscribing? Why are they unsubscribing? So really looking into data, and you can't please everybody out there. You can't please every reader. You will have unlikes, you'll have unsubscribes, but just to see when you're getting the most response and when people are appreciating the content the most.
Right. And don't you find that it's pretty clear, you know, there are going to be some people who leave, but there's a majority that is loyal and, you know, will do whatever you want.
Absolutely, and once you get that trust and loyalty, when you say, hey, you should go here for dinner to please your advertiser, you know, that's where it pays off.
So what is your restaurant recommendation usually?
Oh, man. That's one of the worst, most popular questions I get is, what's your favorite restaurant? What's the best restaurant? And I always say, well, favorite for what? Best for what? Favorite for lunch?
Right.
Favorite for lobster roll? Best for? So I try not to put myself on the spot. That's a very political answer, by the way. But you know, it's favorite and best changes every day. So there are a lot of great restaurants, and one of the things about being in this business and where I consider myself hyper-local is, you know, you try to please everybody and support everybody. So that's where I've gained a lot of trust here in town.
I think you do a really good job with that. Of you know, a lot of the restaurants, I think, more are working together, more collaborative and supportive of one another. And it's been really, really great to see this new crop of new restaurants and fresh takes on things. And also, it seemed like for a long time that all the restaurants that opened were really expensive. Like all the new restaurants that were really good were really expensive, and now there seems to be this like everyman that's still really, really good. And not every night is a night at the mooring. For us anyway.
Exactly. Exactly, and you see a lot of businesses working together and doing co-ops and doing events together. A lot of Newport film events. You'll see a lot of the businesses working together, and I think one of the things you really feel, and one of the things I really push, is positivity. There's a lot of negative news in the world. You can cover it, but overall, you just have to be positive. There's no reason. And one of the biggest things in social and using your business is if you have a bad experience or don't like somebody for whatever reason, you can't not use your business or social media or a website to respond to that. You have to stay positive and you have to stay fair. And that's what I really try to do. If I think a restaurant is terrible or overpriced, you just don't say it. If you only say, what your parents have been telling you since you were a kid, only say nice stuff.
Yeah, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Absolutely.
That's the catchphrase in my house.
Yes.
Growing up. And so, just one quick question though: do you think analytics should spend one class or two, or like how many hours? If we have 12 hours to choose from.
I have analytics open all day, and there's so many different analytics. If you pull it into data, it's you have the Google Analytics of your website, but you also have the analytics of your social media, which might be more important. So you can spend a good amount of time. Most website traffic is coming through social media, so you really have to get down on how social media works first before you can figure out when people are visiting your website. So you have to figure out one before the other. So because most people, if you look at your website analytics, are clicking through social media to get there.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, one of the concepts that I have in this certificate is to do analytics on behalf of a brand. So let's say a nonprofit, right? You have a lot of nonprofit experience. A lot of nonprofits are afraid of Google Analytics, don't understand it. But if they had some students who wanted to come in and understand analytics as part of a class, and then be able to present it and explain it to the nonprofit, set up some goals, here are some things to look for. I think that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely will.
Because there's so much to it, and it changes all the time too. And I guess to the point of social media or new media changing all the time, I mean, that's one of the big challenges, is to make sure that the content is relevant and also somewhat evergreen. How do we make it so that if you're investing in this when you're, either back to school as an adult or as an undergrad, how do you make it so it's going to last your career? And that I think is one of the big challenges. What are your recommendations? What do you think would be a good way to handle that?
Well, you have to be open to always learning what's going to be new. You can't just say, I'm only doing Facebook for the rest of my life. Otherwise, if people did that with MySpace, they're stuck there and they're never going to succeed anywhere. But
right.
You have to be open to, there's something new happening all the time. You see things like Foursquare is now Swarm, and you just have to always be ready to learn and always be ready to take on that new thing. In the digital world, something's being developed right now, I'm sure, that's going to try to take over Facebook. Mm-hmm. So while you shouldn't jump ship as soon as that thing comes out, you really have to see what's valuable and worth your time. We only have so much time per day to get our message out there. Mm-hmm. So it's, how much time is being on Facebook worth it? How much time is Twitter, Instagram, Google+, this, that, fine. So it's really what's going to have the biggest return on investment, which comes to the big story at the end of the day is what's going to keep you and your business going. And just so you always have to be ready to learn the next thing. You might not want to, and but you have to.
Right. Yeah. No, that's very true. So any final tips?
As I think an intern or a student, maybe just be careful what you're putting out there in the social media world while you're at college. Your future boss, your future employer, your future customers are out there right now, and when you come out looking for a job or when you come out looking to start a business, just remember that this stuff, once it gets out there, it's out there forever. With that said, that was kind of the negative aspect of it, but you can start doing things now while you're a student to start working on it. And start making yourself known as social media. Don't call yourself a guru and an expert. Just act like one, but don't call yourself one. So start connecting with people on Twitter who are movers and shakers in your area, and let them tweet at them, let them know you're out there. And then once you graduate or once you're looking for a job, hopefully you have a little bit of a relationship started with them. Yeah,
definitely. Well, on that note, excuse me. I call myself a new media education expert because I'm becoming an expert in the education thereof, which will never end.
You are a guru in my world.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's really fun. I enjoy it, and I'm so happy that that we're connected and we're both interested in very similar things, interested in our community, and interested in helping students succeed in building the future of our island's economy.
Absolutely, and look forward to it. And together, we all have to work together to get there. We can't. That's another thing with the digital world is, there's a big website in the state called Go Local Prov. I work with them every day. I have them call into the radio show. There's no reason not to work with each other. So you all have your own goals and dreams, and they don't have the same goals that I do. But there's no reason not to learn from each other and work with each other.
Yeah, definitely. And when is your radio show again?
4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every weekday on 1540 a.m. and W80K.com.
That's awesome. All right. And also, What's Up Noop?
Yep, whatsupnoop.com.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, and I hope to see you around town very soon. I'm sure I will.
All right. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.